Good morning, young students. We are excited to host the Professionals by Pathway Career Exploration event to help students connect their learning to career opportunities. I am Ethan Doyle, and I'm excited to welcome Sergeant First Class McGuire with the United States Army as our guest today. And before we get started, I want to remind everyone that this meeting is being recorded for future students so they can benefit from our speakers. And we have the next 30 minutes to learn about this career field, the education that is needed to enter and grow within the industry, and what advice our speaker has for our students. We will be monitoring any questions that the students submit. Let's get started so our students can learn about various professions and how they can prepare for their future. Sergeant McGuire, tell us about your career field and how to get started, growth opportunities, pay, and more.
Okay. Good morning, y'all. So as Ethan said, I'm Sergeant First Class Jordy McGuire. So I'm currently an Army recruiter right now. I've been an Army recruiter since 2017, about April, stationed in the Spanaway recruiting office in Spanaway off of Pacific Ave. But my actual job in the Army is I'm a 1-5T or a 15 Tango, as we like to call it. That's a UH-60 helicopter repair. So my job is to repair the UH-60 helicopter. If some of you live in Roy, McKenna, Yelm area, that's directly over our flight path for Fort Lewis, Washington, or JBLM. So you've probably seen it. It's just a single rotor Black Hawk. It's flying around. I know it keeps me up. I also live in Yelm, so I'm not flying right now. So it'll be flying at night, and I'm like, I'm trying to sleep. So yeah, I came in the Army in 2009. November 17th, I know that day like the back of my hand because it was 2 days before my birthday. So I joined the Army as a Black Hawk mechanic because where I'm from in East Hartford, Connecticut, all the way on the other side of the country, the Sikorsky Aircraft Company, that's who makes the Black Hawk helicopter, is from my home state. So I was going to get some experience in the Army. I was going to learn how to fix the helicopter, and then I was going to get out and go back to Connecticut and then start working at the factory. I've been in 11 years, going on 12. Obviously, I didn't do my short little time in the Army. I fell in love with the Army. My job, it's amazing. Not only do I get to fix the helicopter, it's a $16 million helicopter. And at the time of me joining, I had a trade school degree working on cars at Chevy. $16 million helicopter, and they let me fix it. And I was like, wow, okay, that's crazy. But I didn't even know when I chose my job that I could actually be a crew chief. So I can actually fly with the helicopter with my pilots. I'm the flying mechanic. I'm doing in-flight fuel checks, making sure consumption's good, that we don't run out of gas in the air because the helicopter becomes a falling rock real quick if there's no gas to turn the blades. I came in the Army as a private, an E1. That means enlisted on the pay scale. At the time, back in 2009, I was making about $1,400 a month from the Army. Didn't seem like a lot of money, but I wasn't paying for anything. Flash forward to today, I'm an E7, I'm a Sergeant First Class. There's 2 ranks ahead of me, E8 and E9. I use that E word because all the branches of the military, the Coast Guard, the Marine Corps, the Navy, Air Force, and us, and Space Force, which is actually our newest branch, we all get paid the same. Our branch promotes faster than any of the other branches, though. So what that means is when you come in, the Army, to go from an E1 all the way to an E4 takes 24 months. That's faster than any other branch. So if we're all getting paid the same, why not join the branch that is going to promote you faster? Money's good, and I like money. I like to spend money. Career growth. I went from an E1 to an E7 in 10 years. That's pretty quick, not just in aviation, in the Army. So it's really quick. Currently, as of now, I went over this recently with Miss Bertram the other day. I was doing an appointment with somebody. Before taxes, I am clearing $98,000 this year. So it's pretty good money. I am recently married, but before that, I was single. I stayed in the barracks all the way until sergeant, until I got promoted to staff sergeant, became an Army recruiter, and then I bought a house in Yelm, and I used my VA home loan buying program because I'm a veteran. I qualified to buy a house for $0 down. The Army has given me free money, about $2,300 a month, tax-free, to go rent a house or something. So I said, hey, why not buy a house? I love Washington. It's a good investment opportunity. So I purchased a house in 2017. So what else, Ethan?
So when people are making the step to become a part of the military, what might make the Army the best branch for them?
So what I like to say is the best branch is going to be the branch that's going to make you successful. Okay. So if you come talk to Sergeant McGuire and say, hey, I really want to work on submarines, I'm not the branch for you. That'd be the Navy, because we don't have submarines in the Army. Okay. But I would say you need to do your research to find out what you want to do. Make sure the branch that you're going for has the job that you want to do. Make sure you talk to that recruiter to find out if you're actually able to get that job. The one benefit kind of from us for the Army versus any of the other branches is as long as you have a passing physical, a passing ASVAB score, which is something that you guys will be able to take coming up in the near future at Yelm. We'll show you what you qualify to do on a giant list of, hey, you qualify to do this many jobs. Then we'll say this many actually have training seats that you can actually apply to and go get your training for. So if you have a passing ASVAB score and an open training seat, you pick your MOS before you ever ship off to training, before you ever join the military up in Seattle at the Military Entrance Processing Station, something we also call MEPS. Mr. Ethan Doyle, he's enlisted with me. I'm his recruiter. If you ever want to know about kind of the experience at MEPS, you can ask me, or if you see him, he can definitely show you, because he's been there a lot sooner than I have. I would say also look into the different branches, the components of the branch you're looking at. That being said, something we'll touch on a little bit later, the active duty full-time or the reserve, which is part-time.
So going into that, what are the biggest differences from active duty and reserve, and what benefits do you get from both?
Okay. So the benefits you'll get from them both off the bat are going to be, you're going to be a veteran. So for 3 years on active duty status or 6 years in the reserve, you're going to qualify to be able to go the VA home loan buying program or VA small business. So after that amount of time, 3 years active or 6 years reserve, you can go say, hey, I want to go buy a house in Yelm or Idaho or New York or wherever you're at. Let me go use this for $0 down. It's a benefit for our soldiers, our service members, our sailors, and everything like that. Everybody's going to get that regardless in the Army or the Army Reserve. Okay. Education benefits, that's a big thing. So if you're going active duty, that's going to be full time. That means Monday through Friday, usually 6:30 in the morning till 5 p.m. You're going to wear the uniform. You know, you're going to wear camo or do whatever. You're going to do your physical fitness training and things like that. If you want to attend college, you can attend college on active duty, but you're going to have to mix that with your full-time job. So it would be almost the same concept if you were doing college and a full-time job back here. That's going to give you $4,500 a year tuition assistance. Both branches get that. That's free college money that the government is just giving you. Then you're going to get, for active duty, you're going to get what we call the post 9/11 GI Bill. It's roughly $71,000 to $72,000 it will pay for school if it is a private school. If it is a public school or that school has an ROTC program, such as PLU has one or St. Martin's, they'll cover your entire bachelor's degree. Or if you've already had your bachelor's because you were smart and you got your bachelor's while you're on active duty, which you can do that, you can apply and do your master's degree or your graduate programs and things of that nature. Okay. The graduate programs have kind of changed, so it fluctuates. So I don't want to give any misinformation on there. I can pass out some VA stuff for the GI Bill so you guys can look that over exactly to the T, the dollar, what it's giving you. It will also give you $1,000 a year for school books. And it will give you rent money based on your zip code if you were a sergeant who had a family. Okay, so currently that rate is about $1,980 for Pierce County, Thurston County area. That's tax-free. So say you do a minimum of a 3-year active duty contract, and then you come back home and mom and dad, aunt and uncle, grandpa, whoever you were staying with is very nice. And they say, welcome back, thanks for serving your country. You're going to school. You can live here rent-free. The government still is giving you that $1,900 and some change in your pocket. So you can use it for whatever you want to use it for. The $1,000 a year for school books, that's not going to cover all your books, but if you're smart with your money, you can rent books and you can kind of get through. So the reserve is called the GI Select Reserve Bill. That's going to be anywhere between $13,000 to $26,000. Now, that might not seem like a whole bunch of money for education, but that's just the minimum. Now, if you go to places like University of Washington, if you go and join the reserve, you get done with your basic training and your AIT, that's where you learned your job in the Army, and you come back, they're going to automatically cut your tuition in half. They just see your DD 214, hey, you're discharged from active duty service, cut your tuition in half. Also, regardless, active duty or reserve, doesn't matter where you go to school, even if you're not a state resident, you will always get the in-state tuition rate, which is severely reduced from the out-of-state tuition rates. You're going to get anywhere between $30,000 to $40,000 student loan repayment for the reserve, and that's, you can go get up to $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in student loan debt, and every quarter you're going to get a paycheck from the Army that says, hey, this is for your student loans. You're going to pay that to your school. You'll be responsible for some of the interest on your student loans, but it's really small. Okay. You're also going to get paid for serving your 1 week in a month and your 2 weeks in the summer. So that's a little bit of pocket change, about $300 or so for one Saturday and one Sunday that you work. So if you're doing the reserve should be because you want to serve your country, but you want to stay local. You're not ready to leave your family yet or anything like that. You should be going to college, trade school, or flight school, or paid union training. You can get that $13,000 to $26,000. You can get that for working in a union job, on the job training. Say you were going to be a plumber or an electrician locally in Spanaway, Yelm, or anywhere, wherever you're working, and you'll get money, which I didn't know that until I became a recruiter, and I thought it was like fantastic. So anything else?
So you were talking about income. So one thing I wanted to ask was when people normally hear a signing bonus with the job, they get excited. So we know some jobs offer signing bonus as others don't, but which jobs normally offer a signing bonus and which jobs don't? And then knowing you don't get the bonus when you initially sign at MEPS for the first time, when do you actually get the bonus?
Okay, so that's a good point. All right, both active duty and reserve sometimes come with incentives. So incentives are going to be, like I said, additional education money, or like Ethan said, cash bonuses. Okay, so active duty and reserve, if you get a cash bonus, usually, and current rules right now, you need to have over a 50 on the ASVAB for you to qualify for any cash bonuses. Those can be anywhere between $5,000 to currently $40,000. Now, you'll get a piece of paper showing any amount of bonus money that you're entitled on your contract. And you will know with the Army, you are going to know what type of bonus you're getting before you ever step foot up at MEPS to join the Army. You will find that out in a recruiter's office on the live system of, hey, you've chosen this job, right? You like this job. Ethan chose 31 Bravo, military police officer when he enlisted. All right. And he's going to say, like, oh, on this sheet of paper, it's called a request sheet. It's going to show where your basic training is located at, your AIT, and any incentives, education, bonus money, like that. So say you get a $10,000 bonus. If it is $10,000 or less, once you get done with basic training and AIT and you get to your first unit, usually that first month you'll in process with your unit and you'll show them this paper like, hey, look, I'm entitled to this amount of money. If it is $10,000 or less, you'll get one lump sum payment. So boom, it'll all get paid to you. Now, Uncle Sam, the government, they're going to take their money. So it's going to be taxed. So out of $10,000, you're going to get about $7,500. All right. At the end, when you do your taxes at the end of the year, you're going to get a lot of that back because you're making lower income. Okay. Now, if it's over $10,000, you will get a lump sum payment for that initial $10,000 right when you get done with AIT at your first unit. And then annually, every year when you came in, they're going to pay you a percentage until it is done. So usually on a 4-year contract, it's going to be, 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%. Okay. Now, no, that's it. I hit all those. Hit all those.
All right. So how can the Army actually set up my future besides college? What job opportunities might open up after the Army?
So that's a good point. Depends on kind of the jobs that you choose. A lot of people in my office right now, they fall into the 25 series of MOS, which is IT personnel. Their networking systems, coding, things like that. That's a massive market out here in Washington. Across the whole country, it's massive, but out here specifically with Microsoft and all the other big giant corporations. Me, I'm aviation. We have Boeing right up north. That sets me up for success because one, I'm eligible to take certain certifications that I'll qualify that I would have normally had to go to school. I would have had to go to TCC, aeronautics program out here, done aviation maintenance, and have worked in the field for 3 years before I was even eligible to go to the Federal Aviation Administration in Seattle and get authorization to take my airframe and power plant license, which is an FAA certified license. The Army will pay for that. My military experience waives all of that schooling because they're like, well, hey, you're on the job doing this, so we're going to pay for those things. Okay. A big thing too, you chose to be 31 Bravo military police officer. Okay. So because you had some separate goals that you wanted to attain outside in the world. Initially you had talked about wanting to potentially be, investigator, police officer, something along those lines. And we thought that, you would talk to me like, hey, I just want to be a military police officer because I want to be a police officer when I get out. And I told you, I was like, well, you don't need to do that actually. Just being a veteran for those public service ones, firefighter, police officer, and such, being a veteran, just serving in any branch of the military is going to give you a leg up. You're going to actually get hiring points. So if me and Ethan were the same exact person on paper, we've done the same things, and I wasn't a veteran, but he's going to get promotion points to get hired on before I do, because those public service, they actually respect and they understand all the great benefits you as a soldier are bringing to the table. You're on time, you're respectful, you're responsible, you're in physically good condition. And you know what? Most important, you know how to show up right time, right place, right uniform, and right attitude. And that will carry you so far in the world in any profession. That's the big thing. Okay. You're going to get different certifications as well. So like the IT personnel that I work with, some of them have gotten out and worked at T-Mobile starting out at $90,000 a year, just for the certifications and the military experience that they have.
So I'm actually seeing a question in the chat that says, so I'm currently a sophomore. How would I sign up for training during the following summer?
So that's a big thing. So we have a program called a CHIS, currently in high school. So if you turn 17 and you're in your junior year and you are interested in the reserve, you can come talk to a recruiter, at least the Army. I can't speak on any of the other branches. And I am personally the Army recruiter for Yelm High School. I will also have a counterpart because I'm here for only October is when I'll be leaving to go back to active duty aviation. So if you turn 17 your junior year, your parents or your guardian, whoever has legal signing authority for you until you're 18, will have to get parental consent. Okay. You come talk to a recruiter and we'll show you the list of jobs that you're authorized to sign up as a junior. And how that program is going to work is you enlist, you take the ASVAB and you take the physical, and you enlist in the reserve. You enlist for a 6-year contract. Every reserve contract is 6 years. Okay. So that means 6 years of 1 week in a month and 2 weeks in the summer. But you enlist the day that you enlist, your 6 years starts counting down. So say you enlist in January of your junior year. You're 17, mom and dad, aunt and uncle, grandpa, whoever's in charge of you says, yes, you can enlist in. You choose your MOS, you enlist, you get a week later or so, you get an ID card that I don't have on me because it's on my other computer I'd show you, but it gives you access to Fort Lewis, JBL, any military installation you'll have access to. And then what's going to happen is then you'll finish your junior year out as long as you are in good standing with grades. Okay. And then 2 weeks after you graduate junior year, you're going to go to basic training during the summer. You're going to finish your basic combat training. You're going to learn how to be a soldier, first aid, marching, land navigation, all that stuff. Then you're going to start your senior year. Congratulations, you're back to Yelm. How was your summer? You're going to have money in your pocket. You're going to be in a lot better shape than you were in before because it's going to get you physically fit. And then you're going to finish your senior year. Once you graduate senior year, 2 weeks after that, usually you'll ship to AIT. Then once you get back done with AIT, learning your job that you chose, then you'll come back ready to start college in about, I want to say the winter or the spring semester or trade school or whatever you're doing, whatever gave you the reason to join the reserve to stay local. Okay.
So we have another question that says, so I'm a freshman this year and do you guys have football? And I believe he's referring to West Point sports. Now, how do you actually play the West Point or play for West Point?
So that's good that you're thinking about it right now. You're a freshman, okay? So what you need to do is you need to start playing a sport in school, okay? Because they look big for that, because every person, every cadet at West Point has to play a sport. It doesn't mean they're playing for the school sport, the school's team, like the was it the Golden Knights is our parachute team and all that. Our football team, our baseball team, stuff like that. We have the school like sport for West Point, but there's intramural sports. So, hey, maybe you're not good enough and you didn't get recruited for the football team, but you still need to play a sport. You're going to learn that because it's all about team camaraderie. But for you, I would say link up with an upperclassman, Mr. Doyle. He's on the football team. He should be able to give you pointers on what's going to make you successful in football, especially into your own personal program. But while you're in school, you need to maintain probably, I'd say like a 3.4, 3.5 GPA and above through those 4 years. You need to do volunteer work within your community because they look highly on that. You need to have a sport. And then you just need to get your letter of recommendation from congressmen, principals, anybody else that's going to attest you. But you do need to get a congressman's letter of recommendation from you. Your school staff, Miss Mathis, Miss Bertram, they can kind of identify and give you information on how to get those letters of recommendation and things like that. You also are in a giant military community, so a lot of the people that either work at your school or live around the area, they're military veterans. Okay, so if you can link up with them and they can assist you, but you have to stay competitive. And then, yeah, stay out of trouble, no drugs, don't do anything illegal, illicit. For some reason, I've seen a lot of young kids getting tattoos in the state of Washington. I don't understand it. But for us, if you have any tattoos that are on the wrist bone to go onto the hands or on the collarbone up onto the face, you're disqualified. You will need a waiver for those things. But if you're trying to get into something as prestigious as one of the academy schools, which is on the same level as any of the Ivy League schools like Yale, Harvard, you need to be an upstanding professional organization, professional student.
So one of my next questions says, when students take a look into the Army, what jobs might spark their interest, and what jobs normally spark students' interest when joining?
So a big thing, you get a lot of young people. Predominantly, I see more young gentlemen that are doing it, but it's open to both females as well. Recently, as of the past 3 years, combat arms, infantry, tankers, cavalry scout, which is kind of like recon. They really like that around here. A big thing though too, military police and medical are the most requested jobs that we see out here. So for medical, a big thing is not all the medical MOSs require it, but I have the qualifications that will show you exactly what you need for specific MOSs to meet the intent. But a lot of them, it's not for medical, at least 2 years of a biology and science or higher, like chemistry, physics, something like that. And you need at least a C average or better to qualify for a lot of those things. If you want human resources, that's a big thing. If they have a typing program that's offered at your school to learn how to type, I don't think they do that anymore, but if they do, that's sometimes a requirement. Military police officer, there's not any requirements other than you can't have any drug convictions or law violations. And you must have color vision, because if you didn't have color vision, you can't say like the brown car went that way when it was a red car or something like that. It's a joke, but it's true. That's why you can't be colorblind. For me, aviation, you can't have any drug convictions because it's monitored by the FAA, even though it's private or it's military. So the biggest thing is just find out what you want to do. And then if you want to send a message to me or any of the other recruiters, we can give you that information. The big thing is don't be scared to talk to us. We're regular people. The uniform comes on at night. We have a family. I'm a pretty easygoing guy. I'm not gonna shoot you in the wrong direction and give you any misinformation. I'm gonna be blunt about it, and I'm gonna tell you, do you qualify for this or do you not? So just ask me, let me know, and understand there is no commitment to joining the Army or any branch, okay? I can't speak for the other recruiters, but I can tell you straight up, you can enlist with me, and unless you step through the airport TSA security to go ship to training, you can say, hey, Sergeant McGuire, I don't want to do this anymore. And you don't have to ship. You're not going to be AWOL. You're not going to get a dep discharge and be like, I can't work anywhere and whatnot. That's not the truth at all. So,
Gentlemen, we have 5 minutes left in our session.
Okay.
Which is perfect because this leads me into my last question is what should people do now to set them up for the Army if they decide to go down this path from weight to physical attributes? Like, what should people be doing now to prepare themselves for basic training?
Okay. So biggest thing I want to hit up real quick is find out if you're even qualified to do the military. That's a big thing. People think, oh, I'm just going to go join the military. I'm just going to do that. We are a professional organization. We have strict standards that you need to meet to get into our organization. I've already told you about the benefits that we get and the amount of money that we make and how we set you up for success. We're not just offering that to everybody. We would love for everybody to want to join and whatnot, but that's not feasible. Okay. So big things is want to maintain your height and weight, make sure that you're within height and weight compliance. If you need to know what that is, you can literally just Google Army height and weight, and it'll usually tell you what you need to be at. Don't stress it. We have ways that we can help you lose weight if you need to, or if you're underweight to gain weight. Big thing too, like I said, tattoos will need waivers. You're not supposed to be doing any drugs anyway, so stay away from those. Those are bad and they're going to set you up for failure anyways. Okay, but that's a big thing. Another thing, self-harm and cutting. Okay. It was a big thing when I was in high school. I guess it is still a current big thing. Okay. Talk to somebody if you need help, if you're having problems or trouble at home. But I will tell you, if you have self-harm scars, you can potentially get a waiver to join the military, but they don't happen a lot. Okay. So you need to be aware of those things. Get the help that you need first and foremost. Physical attributes, basically a MEPS physical is going to be like a sports physical with a little bit more in-depth stuff of mobility exercises and things like that. Okay. So if you're worried or you're concerned, like, hey, do I take any medications like this, or is this acceptable or not? Just come talk to a recruiter. Like, you can shoot me a text or an email, or I can meet with you with Ms. Bertram and Ms. Mathis up there at the school, or do a Zoom chat, whatever. If you're more comfortable, you take my number down if you want. They can put it on the chat, but it's 206-679-2518. Shoot me a text message. And if you're like, hey, this is so-and-so, I don't know if this qualifies, or I want to know more, do that. I promise you, Ethan can attest to this. I'm a very informative person. I talk a lot, but I like to give you as much information as possible, and there's no commitment at all.
So I believe that's all the questions that we had. I don't see any more in chat.
Okay.
But yes, I can attest to that is if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask them. You know, there's nothing wrong with asking questions.
Yep.
I believe that is it.
All right. Miss Bertram, do you have anything?
I don't, but I want to thank you for coming today. Thank you, Ethan. We appreciate everything that all the information you gave us today. Again, if you guys have any follow-up questions, please stop by the Career Center and visit with Miss Mathis or myself. And we have all of Sergeant McGuire's contact information too.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the time and effort. And Ethan, you put into Ms. Bertram and the rest of Yelm. And thanks for your guys' time, students. And then if you have any questions, hit me up, okay?
Thank you, Sergeant McGuire. Thank you, Ethan.
Have a good day. Bye.
Okay, you too. Bye.